Yo, I lost $10,000 in 2 weeks. $10,000 in 2 weeks, bro. Crazy. That's $10,000 that I don't have in the bank account. That's $10,000 that I don't have cash. That's $10,000 that I don't have invested. That's $10,000 that I could get. What can I get with $10,000? I can get 10 of these. I can get a lot of clothes, right? I can buy my first investment property with $10,000. I can start 10 different projects with $10,000. I can buy like 20 PS5s with $10,000, man. It's $10,000. I day trade Forex, and I've been day trading for a little over 4 years. And I've noticed that with trading, you kind of lose touch with the value of a dollar, right? You lose value of what a dollar is. But oftentimes I have to tell myself and to keep myself grounded and remind myself that a dollar is a dollar at the end of the day. Losing $10,000 as of right now is the most I've ever lost in a 2 week span. A little over 5 months ago, I want to say 5 months ago, the most I ever lost in 2 weeks was $4,000. And that was devastating. It was almost devastating for me at the time because that was pretty much all I had in my trading account. I risked my entire account on one single trade, and I pretty much lost $4,000 in 2 weeks. Now, a few months later, I'm sitting here talking to you guys about how I lost $10,000, man. It is crazy, but $10,000 being lost, I'm sort of rearranging, reframing the way that I think about it, right? This time around, after losing $10,000, I've had some deep contemplation and a lot of introspective thoughts. I had to really sit down with myself and ask, what am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? A few months ago, I also made the decision to go full time with trading. It was around 2 months ago. And now that I've gotten myself to a point where I've lost $10,000, I had to think and ask myself, is there something that I should keep doing? Should I quit? And that was the inner consensus at one point. For around a day, I was set on going full time in something else. I was deeply considered. At a certain point, I was thinking about placing my focus into another thing, into another project, into going full time in something else, looking at different jobs that I can go full time in, but essentially just to make money, right? To make money in a secure way where I can just put day trading to the side, because right now it just seems like it isn't working right now. But ultimately, instead of making the decision to go full time into something else, instead of making the decision to quit trading full time, I made the decision to reframe my thoughts, to reshape the way that I'm thinking about this. And think about it as, instead of $10,000 being a negative thing, it being more so a positive thing. Losing $10,000 is a privilege rather than a consequence. Yeah, man, it's really a privilege. It's not a consequence anymore. So many times I've ridiculed myself for the simple fact of losing, which is something that's inevitable in trading. I've been conditioning myself to be more comfortable with losses, be accustomed to it, and to furthermore embrace it and love the aspect of losing. Because losing, I say it's a privilege because it allows you. Losing is the opportunity. I look at losing as the opportunity that allows you to potentially make more. Now, of course, it's not guaranteed, but at the end of the day, it's an opportunity, right? And if you're able to take that cost, which is the opportunity, and still maintain your account, I say take as many opportunities or take as many L's as you can, or as possible, right? L's are not only the opportunity, but they're the lesson. I'm sure you heard of that. L's equal lessons. That's what the L represents. It's a lesson. It's an opportunity to get better, right? And of course, you're gonna get better with journaling. If you journal, if you're a beginner, what I would tell you now, journal as early as you can. That will be probably the best investment that you can. If you can invest into some journaling platform, or you can get a personal journal, or you can use sites like Notion. Invest in some type of journal, or just get a journal as early as possible, and be as detailed as you can with your journaling, and ensure that every single loss you're learning something, whether it's a small little thing, whether it's risk management, or a small little thing in terms of your psychology in that specific moment, or what you were thinking in that certain moment. Something small or something large, whether it's your trading model, you're able to learn something from that loss. But with this specific L or L's that I've taken within the past 2 weeks, 10K is not, it's not little. It's not little. But I've been here, not in terms of losing 10K, not in terms of the quantity, but in terms of being at a place where I've lost a large amount of money. More money than I had on display. Around 4-5 months ago, I lost like 4.5K. I made a video on it as well. I think it was 4K, but I made a video on it. And at that point, I don't want to say I felt devastated, but I definitely felt a little discouraged, being that I was working a job and that was my full-time focus, was that job, which took majority of my time. And then I had trading on the side. That was something, man. That was something, because I didn't have 4K to just give to somebody at that point. I didn't have 4K in my bank account, and I just lost it. Simply because my risk management wasn't where it's supposed to be, simply because I was a little greedy at the moment, simply because I didn't place a stop loss, little things like that. But I say that because I've been here before. I've lost large amounts of money before, and I've climbed myself out of it. But the first step of doing that, the first step to it, is to just acknowledge where you went wrong, acknowledge that this is just a part of the game, and also acknowledge that if you want to make those large amounts of money, whatever that amount is to you, and that large amount could be simply $100, $200, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000. If you want to make those large sums of capital, you have to risk somewhat large amounts, somewhat. Right now, you have a very, very, very high risk to reward margin, then that's different. But typically, you're gonna have to risk a substantial amount of money. Let me not say substantial, but like a decent amount of money to make a decent amount of money, right? When you look at someone and they say, "Hey, I made $500,000. I made $200,000 in one trade. I made $100,000 in one trade." You have to really peel back the layers and ask, how much did they risk? Rather than just looking at the money itself, how much did they risk? What was their psychology like throughout their trade? What allowed them to just sit back? And they may have gone through periods of drawdown where they lost, or they were down $100,000 to get to the $500,000. You don't really know the backstory, but we look at the $500,000 and glorify that alone. Everything is risk at the end of the day. If you want to make large amounts of money, large sums of money, money that will change your life, money that will eradicate the 9-to-5, you just have to risk a certain amount of money. And that's the sentiment that I want to lay out, not only for you guys, but for myself. If I were on the opposite end of things, and 10K is my risk, minimum, I have a 1 to 2 risk to reward. So on the opposite end of this, I would have been up 20K, right? Obviously with barely much of context or anything, but on the opposite end of that, that would have been 20K, possibly 30K. possibly 40K. I just happen to be on the losing side right now. The more I think about it, man, it's low-key a flex. It's low-key a flex to say I've lost $10,000 in 2 weeks. It's low-key a flex. I've lost in 2 weeks. I lost the amount of money that somebody is hoping to make in 1 month, is hoping to make in 2 months and 5 months, some 6 months, some 1 year. Simple as that. And I lost that in 2 weeks, simply because I was taking the opportunity to make a lot more, and I chose to risk that certain amount. Now, obviously, it wasn't on one trade. It was a multitude of 3 to 4 trades, but that's 10K in 2 weeks gone, because I chose to take the opportunity to potentially make a lot more. Yeah, but it's crazy now that I'm over 4 years in, how just the losses have changed over time. At one point, I was stressing over losing $50. It's crazy. Like 4 years ago, I was stressing over losing $50 or even $30. There were times in my freshman year in college where I had $300, $400 in an account, and I lost all of it. Maybe I blew it all in one trade, maybe a few trades, but I blew all of it. A few years later, losing $1,000. A few years later, losing, I remember 2 years ago, the most I ever lost was 3.7K. I remember that vividly. I lost that at work. Being at work, I lost 3.7 or 3.8K. A few years later, 4K, which was a few months ago, and then now it's 10K. So as you progress and as you desire to make more amounts of money, these are just simply the costs. These are simply what you have to risk in order to make those large amounts of money. Right now, I have 4 different accounts. So of those 4 different accounts, that whole pool is equivalent to $1,000 in terms of how much I risked on all 4 accounts. So it's just the reality of progressing as a trader. At some point, you have to embrace it. Embrace the losses and understand that it's simply an opportunity. Right now, last week I was a bit discouraged. I even considered going full-time into something else, just going back into a job and going full-time in that, and just put trading to the side for right now. I felt that way because I was looking strictly at the money itself. I was looking at the money itself rather than the risk to reward, rather than just peeling back the layers. Even myself, sometimes I look at the monetary value itself. $10,000 I just lost. Man, what am I doing? I don't deserve to be in this position. When that's simply just not the case. I have 4 different accounts. I have 2 funded evaluations, and 1 funded account, 1 personal account. Within this 2-month frame of being full-time, I've earned 1 of those fundeds. And right now I'm in 2 evaluations. So if I just stay grounded, do what I'm supposed to do, and I could rightfully so lose this funded account. I'm already down $3,000-4,000 on it. I could lose it, but at the end of the day, I have the skill to make it again, to get a new account again, to recoup all of those losses that I've accumulated. Final thing I'll say is, whether you're in a situation where what you're going through seems like a positive thing or even seems like a negative thing, because everything is perspective. It's how you view it. Whether positive or negative, everything in any situation, any circumstance can be maximized. I've said it before, I'll say it again, and 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 I'll say it again. It can be maximized simply as that, meaning that everything is an opportunity. Every situation is an opportunity. I can use this as fuel, or I can use this as discouragement to lean towards something else. It's all in how I operate and how I visualize it, how I use it, simply how I internalize it. I can either use this to become great or use this to become worse. It's up to me. It's up to you. But yeah, man, that's the video. Those are all of my thoughts. Just tying my perspective, my experience, my insight, all into. Oh shoot! I almost broke my camera. I already got a crack on it. Dang. But yeah, just tying in everything. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you on the next video. Yeah.